Hey there, future Canadians. I'm Alex, and welcome to the channel. Today we're diving deep into something that's probably on your mind if you're dreaming of the Great White North, the Comprehensive Ranking System, or CRS score. It's the gatekeeper of Canada's express entry system, that magical portal to permanent residency. It might seem like a daunting, monolithic number, a score handed down from the immigration gods, but here's the good news: it's not entirely out of your control. Think of it less like your height, which is, fixed, and more like your score in a really important video game. There are power-ups, strategies, and hidden levels to explore. So what's the plan for today? We're going on an adventure, a quest if you will, to uncover the secrets of boosting that all-important CRS score. We'll be looking at 7 key areas where you can strategically make improvements, from acing those language tests to the surprising power of, believe it or not, your spouse's resume. It's about understanding the mechanics, the nuts and bolts of the system, so you can present the best possible version of your profile. Because let's be honest, navigating immigration can feel like trying to assemble IKEA furniture in the dark, but with the right instructions and maybe a little bit of guidance, it becomes a whole lot clearer. My goal here isn't just to throw information at you, it's to empower you, to show you that while the express entry system is competitive, and yes, sometimes a bit bewildering, there are concrete steps you can take. We're going to break it down, piece by piece, so you can walk away feeling more confident and equipped to take on this challenge. So grab a coffee, a notebook, or just your undivided attention, because we're about to demystify the CRS score and put you in the driver's seat of your Canadian dream. Let's get started. Alright, let's kick things off with what is arguably one of the most significant point earners in the express entry game: your language proficiency. We're talking English, French, or hey, if you're ambitious, both. Improving your scores here isn't just a minor tweak, it can be a game changer, significantly catapulting your points skyward. Think of it as the foundation of your CRS house. The stronger your language skills, the sturdier and taller your point structure can be. It's about demonstrating that you can communicate effectively, which, understandably, is pretty important for settling into a new country and workforce. Now, if you're eyeing the IELTS general training test, which many are, there's a magic number you need to know: CLB 7. That's Canadian Language Benchmark Level 7. Hitting this in all 4 abilities, listening, reading, writing, and speaking, is your golden ticket to even be eligible for express entry under the Federal Skilled Worker Program. It's the baseline, the entry fee to the party, but here's where it gets really interesting. If you can push yourself further, if you can achieve the coveted CLB 9 across all those abilities, you're looking at the maximum possible points in this category. That's a massive boost. What if you've already thrown your hat in the ring and submitted your express entry profile? No sweat. The system is dynamic, not static. You can absolutely update your profile with new, improved language test results. So that first score doesn't have to be your final score. It's like submitting a draft of an essay. You can always go back and revise it for a better grade. Here at Canadim, we even provide our express entry clients with access to some fantastic IELTS training materials to help them prepare, because we know how crucial this is. Preparation is key. And speaking of preparation, the internet is your friend. There's a wealth of resources out there, both free and paid, designed to help you hone your language skills and get familiar with the test formats. From practice tests to vocabulary builders, online courses to tutoring, you can find tools tailored to your learning style. The Canadian government, in its quest for diverse linguistic talent, also accepts other language tests besides the IELTS. For English, there's the CELPIP general test, and for French you have the TEF Canada and TCF Canada. Each has its own nuances, so research which one might suit you best. Now let's talk about the language of Molière French. If you have any French language ability, even if it's not your first language, it is highly recommended to take a recognized French language test. Why? Because bilingual candidates are like gold dust in the express entry pool. Those extra points for French proficiency can make a substantial difference, potentially pushing you over the threshold for an invitation to apply. It's a strategic advantage that's definitely worth pursuing if you have some French skills you can polish up. And for those of you who are native English speakers, perhaps hailing from a country where English is the official language, you might be thinking, surely I don't need a test. Well, plot twist, you do. Language test results are a mandatory component for submitting an express entry profile, regardless of your native language or country of origin. It's about standardized assessment, ensuring a level playing field for everyone. So, yes, even if you dream in English, you'll need to sit that test. So, here's the big immigration tip for this chapter. Take your time and really study for your language tests. Aim to earn a good score in all categories, not just to meet the minimum, but to maximize your potential points. This ensures you can submit your profile into the pool and be considered for draws. And remember, as we've said, you can always retake the test after you've submitted your profile. The initial goal is to get your profile into the pool, so you don't miss out on any potential draws that the Canadian government might conduct. It's about being in it to win it. Next up on our CRS boosting journey is something called an Education Credential Assessment, or ECA. This might sound a bit bureaucratic, and well, it kind of is, but it's absolutely vital. Having your foreign education, that degree or diploma you worked so hard for outside of Canada, assessed by a designated Canadian organization is incredibly important. It's essentially Canada's way of understanding how your international qualifications stack up against Canadian educational standards. Think of it as translating your academic achievements into a language the express entry system understands. And here's a crucial point, one that can trip up aspiring applicants. You cannot, I repeat, cannot submit your express entry profile into the pool without your language test results and your ECA report if you're claiming points for foreign education. These aren't optional extras, they are foundational requirements. Why? Because the express entry portal will actually ask you for the document number and date of issuance associated with these reports. Without them, you simply can't move forward. It's like trying to board a plane without your passport and boarding pass, you're just not getting on. Now you might be wondering, do I need to get all my foreign degrees and diplomas assessed? This is a common question, and the answer can sometimes be nuanced. If you're unsure whether assessing just your highest degree is enough, or if perhaps evaluating multiple credentials could snag you more points, this is where professional guidance can be invaluable. An experienced immigration lawyer or a licensed immigration consultant can help you navigate this, explaining the points you'd earn for each level of education completed and helping you strategize for the maximum benefit. This brings us to a very important immigration tip for this section. It could very well be that assessing both your bachelor's and master's degrees, for example, or multiple post-secondary credentials could indeed earn you additional points in the education category. Sometimes, the combination of credentials is more valuable than a single one, especially under the 2 or more certificates, diplomas, or degrees option. So, be absolutely sure to receive the proper guidance on which evaluations you need to undertake to truly maximize your points. Don't leave potential points on the table. The process of getting an ECA involves sending your academic transcripts and degree certificates to one of the organizations designated by Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC. Some of the well-known ones include World Education Services, WES, International Credential Assessment Service of Canada, ICAS, and several others. Each organization has its own specific document requirements, processing times, and fees, so you'll need to research them carefully and choose the one that best fits your situation. This isn't a step to rush, as gathering the necessary documents from your former educational institutions can sometimes take a while. Timing is also a critical factor here. ECA processing times can vary significantly, from a few weeks to several months, depending on the organization you choose and the complexity of your case, and even the country your education is from. Therefore, it's wise to start the ECA process as early as possible, ideally even before you take your language tests. This way you ensure that all your essential documents are ready when you want to create your express entry profile, avoiding unnecessary delays that could mean missing out on an invitation round. Ultimately, the ECA serves to validate your hard-earned education and translate it into CRS points. It's a testament to your academic journey and a key component in demonstrating your ability to successfully establish yourself in Canada. While it requires some paperwork and patience, the payoff in terms of your overall CRS score can be substantial, making it a non-negotiable step for anyone with foreign credentials aiming for Canadian permanent residence through express entry. So treat it with the seriousness it deserves, plan ahead, and get those qualifications recognized. Alright, let's shift gears from academia and language to the world of work. Your professional experience is another heavyweight contender in the calculation of your express entry points. Given that express entry is the gateway for economic immigration streams, it makes perfect sense that what you've done in your career, your skills, and your time in the workforce play a massive role. It's not just about having a job, it's about having the right kind of experience that Canada values and needs for its labor market. In the ever-evolving landscape of express entry draws, we've seen the rise of occupation-specific selections. This means that your specific work experience, categorized by your National Occupational Classification (NOC) code, can directly impact your chances of being invited to apply. If your profession is in high demand in Canada or in a particular province, you might find yourself prioritized. This underscores the importance of not only having work experience but ensuring it's accurately represented and aligns with Canada's economic priorities. It's about fitting into the bigger picture of Canada's workforce needs. This brings us to the critical and sometimes tricky concept of the NOC code. Your National Occupational Classification Code is more than just a number. It's a detailed description of your job duties, responsibilities, and the skill level associated with your profession. Selecting the correct NOC code based on your actual job duties, not just your job title, is paramount. An impressive job title might sound good, but if the duties don't match the NOC description IRCC expects, you're heading for trouble. This selection is a cornerstone of your application. And here's an immigration tip that cannot be overstated. Choosing the wrong NOC code can, in fact, be detrimental to your application. It could lead to a refusal, not because you're not skilled, but because your documented experience doesn't align with the NOC code you claimed. Imagine applying for a job as a software engineer but describing your duties as a customer service representative. It just wouldn't fly. So, spend time on the official NOC website, read the lead statements and main duties carefully, and ensure it's a true reflection of your work. Should you be fortunate enough to receive an invitation to apply, ITA, which is the goal of course, you will then need to provide substantial documentation to support the NOC code you've chosen and all the work history you've claimed in your express entry profile. This typically includes detailed reference letters from your employers, outlining your job duties, period of employment, hours worked, and salary. These letters need to corroborate the information you provided and align with the chosen NOC. Consistency is absolutely key here. What kind of work experience actually counts? Generally, for programs like the Federal Skilled Worker Program, you need at least 1 year of continuous full-time or an equal amount in part-time paid work experience in a skilled occupation, NOC tier category 0, 1, 2, or 3 within the last 10 years. Skilled is the operative word here, so internships or volunteer work, while valuable, might not count towards this specific requirement unless they meet all the criteria, including being paid and matching a skilled NOC. Furthermore, the details matter immensely. When you're calculating your work experience, ensure you're only counting periods where you were genuinely employed and performing the duties of the selected NOC. Gaps in employment need to be accounted for, and you must be transparent. The assessing officers will scrutinize your work history, so meticulous record-keeping and honest representation are your best allies in this part of the process. Your work experience isn't just a list of jobs, it's a narrative of your professional capabilities. Chapter 4. The Power of Two Spousal Factors in Your CRS Score. Now for some of you this next part might not apply, but for those who have a spouse or a common law partner, listen up, because they can play a surprisingly significant role in your express entry journey and your overall CRS score. It's not just about your individual merits, the system also considers your partner's qualifications. This can be a double-edged sword, sometimes boosting your score, other times potentially lowering it if not strategized correctly. So, let's unpack how to navigate this +1 scenario effectively. First things first, if you're applying with a spouse or common law partner, a crucial initial step is to determine who should be the principal applicant. Don't just assume it should be one person over the other. You need to objectively assess both profiles. It could very well be that your spouse or partner has a stronger profile, perhaps they have higher language scores, more education or work experience in a more in-demand NOC. In such a case it would be strategically advantageous for them to be the principal applicant, with you as the accompanying dependent. Secondly, if your spouse or partner is accompanying you, their credentials can contribute to your total CRS score. It would be highly advisable for your spouse or common law partner to also complete their language tests, English and/or French, and obtain an Educational Credential Assessment, or ECA, for any post-secondary education they have completed outside of Canada. Their language proficiency and education level can add valuable points to your collective score. Think of it as a team effort. Every point counts and your partner can help you earn them. Now here's a more complex consideration. In some situations, you might actually have a higher CRS score as a single applicant, or if you list your spouse or partner as non-accompanying. The CRS points are calculated differently depending on whether you have an accompanying spouse or not. If bringing your partner along significantly drops your score below the draw cutoffs, one, albeit more challenging option is to list them as non-accompanying. This means you would apply for permanent residence alone initially. If you choose the non-accompanying route and successfully receive permanent residence, you can still sponsor your spouse or common law partner to join you in Canada later. However, this does mean a period of separation, and the processing times for spousal sponsorship applications can be lengthy. This option is often considered a more emotionally difficult one, and depends heavily on your personal circumstances, family situation, and tolerance for being apart. It's a significant decision with serious implications, but for some it might be the only viable path to getting that initial ITA. Here's a more optimistic immigration tip. If both you and your spouse or common law partner are strong candidates, you can each submit a separate express entry profile and list each other as accompanying or non-accompanying depending on individual scores. This effectively doubles your chances of one of you receiving an invitation to apply. If one profile gets selected, the other can be withdrawn. It's a strategy that requires both partners to meet the eligibility criteria independently, but it can significantly increase your odds in a competitive pool. It's also important to understand Canada's definition of a common law partner for immigration purposes. It generally means you have been living together in a conjugal relationship for at least 1 year continuously. You'll need to provide proof of this cohabitation if you're claiming common law status. This isn't just about ticking a box, it's about meeting a specific legal definition, so ensure your situation aligns with the requirements before you declare it in your profile. Honesty and accuracy are, as always, paramount. Let's talk about job offers. For a long time, a qualifying Canadian job offer was like the holy grail for express entry candidates, offering a massive chunk of CRS points. Now, the brief for this video says an eligible job offer from a Canadian employer can increase your CRS score directly, but it allows you to gain Canadian work experience. This is a nuanced point. While some specific types of job offers, particularly those backed by a labor market impact assessment, LMIA, still award 50 or 200 points, perhaps the focus here is on the broader benefit of job offer leading to Canadian work experience, which boosts your score over time. Let's explore this angle. So, even if the direct point allocation for certain job offers has shifted or is less emphasized in some strategies, securing employment in Canada remains incredibly valuable. Gaining Canadian work experience is highly prized by the express entry system. 1 year of skilled Canadian work experience can significantly increase your CRS score, and it also opens doors to other immigration pathways like the Canadian Experience class. So a job offer, even if it doesn't give you immediate massive points, is a stepping stone to accumulating that invaluable Canadian experience. How do you go about finding such an opportunity from overseas? It's not easy, but it's not impossible. Spend dedicated time on the official Canada Job Bank website. It's a primary resource for job seekers. Beyond that, explore private job boards like LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster, and others that list Canadian positions. Don't underestimate the power of social networking sites either. Connecting with professionals in your field in Canada, joining relevant LinkedIn groups, and networking can sometimes uncover hidden job market opportunities. It's about being proactive and persistent. This leads us to a crucial immigration tip. Spend significant time perfecting your resume and cover letter to stand out from other applicants. The Canadian job market, like many others, is competitive, especially now. Your resume needs to be tailored to Canadian standards, which often means a concise, achievement-oriented format, typically no more than 2 pages. Highlight skills and experiences that are relevant to the Canadian context and the specific job you're applying for. Generic resumes are unlikely to get much attention. Investing time in creating a compelling Canadian-style resume can genuinely lead to more opportunities. Research the in-demand occupations within your industry in Canada. Understand what Canadian employers are looking for. Tailor your application materials to showcase how your skills and experience align with those needs. Using keywords from job descriptions can also help your resume get past initial screening software that many larger companies use. It's about marketing yourself effectively to a new audience. Beyond just applying for advertised jobs, consider proactive networking. Informational interviews can be a powerful tool. Reach out to people working in your field in Canada, not to ask for a job directly, but to learn more about the industry, company culture, and potential opportunities. This can help you make valuable connections and gain insights that aren't available through job postings alone. Canadians are generally quite open to these kinds of conversations if approached respectfully and professionally. Finally, understand that the process of finding a job in Canada from abroad can take time and resilience. There will be rejections, or perhaps even a lack of responses at times. Don't get discouraged. Use each interaction as a learning experience. Continuously refine your approach, your resume, and your networking strategies. The effort you put into securing a Canadian job offer, even if its primary immediate benefit is the pathway to Canadian work experience rather than direct CRS points, is an investment in your long-term immigration goals. Now let's talk about what many consider the ultimate express entry power-up, a provincial nomination. If you manage to secure a nomination from a Canadian province or territory through one of their provincial nominee programs, PNPs, that is aligned with express entry, you will receive an astounding 600 additional points towards your CRS score. Yes, you heard that right, 600. This is often enough to virtually guarantee an invitation to apply in a subsequent express entry draw. It's a massive advantage. Many Canadian provinces and territories operate these PNPs, each designed to attract immigrants who have the specific skills and experience needed in that particular region. Some PNP streams are enhanced, meaning they are linked with the federal express entry system. If you receive a nomination through one of these enhanced streams, those 600 points are added directly to your express entry profile. This is why exploring PNPs is a crucial strategy for many candidates, especially those whose scores might otherwise be just below the typical ITA cutoffs. Here at Canadum, as part of our service for express entry clients, we diligently verify your eligibility for various PNPs. This involves assessing your profile against the criteria of numerous streams across different provinces to determine which ones you might be able to submit an expression of interest, EOI, to. Each province has its own set of streams, targeting specific occupations, education levels, or connections to the province, so it's a complex landscape to navigate. Some might look for tech workers, others for healthcare professionals, or those with experience in trades. It's important to understand that should you be nominated by a province, this often involves a separate application process with that province first. You typically express your interest or apply directly to a provincial stream, and if they find you suitable, they issue a nomination certificate. Once you accept that nomination, the 600 points are added to your Federal Express entry profile. If you then receive an ITA from IRCC based on this enhanced score, your subsequent application for permanent residence is still processed federally, but with the strong backing of that provincial nomination. This leads us to a vital immigration tip. Stay actively abreast of the various provincial nominee programs. PNP streams open and close, criteria change, and occupation in demand lists are updated. You need to be vigilant and ensure you have submitted an expression of interest or applied to every provincial program for which you are eligible. Your NOC code could suddenly become an in-demand occupation in a particular province, opening up a new opportunity you weren't previously aware of. This requires ongoing research and readiness to act. The process often begins by creating an expression of interest, EOI, in a province's own system, if they use one. This is similar to the Federal Express entry profile. You provide information about your skills, experience, and education. Provinces then conduct their own draws from their EOI pools, inviting candidates who meet their specific needs to apply for nomination. Some streams don't require an existing express entry profile to express interest, while others specifically draw from the Federal Express entry pool. Therefore, a dual strategy is often best. Have your profile in the Federal Express entry pool, making you visible to provinces that search the pool for candidates, and also proactively research and apply to specific provincial streams that align with your qualifications. This proactive approach significantly widens your net and increases your chances of snagging that game-changing provincial nomination. It's about leaving no stone unturned in your quest for those 600 points. Our final strategy for boosting your CRS score involves something that might seem like a big step, but can have profound long-term benefits. Considering further study, specifically in Canada. Going back to school is undeniably an investment of time, of money, of effort, but it's an investment in yourself that can not only enhance your career prospects, but also significantly improve your standing in the express entry system. Canadian educational credentials are very highly valued. How can studying in Canada help your CRS score? Well, for starters, completing a Canadian post-secondary program can earn you additional points for education. Even a relatively short program, like a one-year post-secondary certificate, could increase your points, especially if you already have existing qualifications. For instance, if you already hold a post-secondary degree of 3 years or more from your home country, which has been assessed by an ECA, completing an additional one-year program in Canada can help you claim points under the 2 or more certificates, diplomas, or degrees category, which awards more points than a single degree. Beyond the direct points for Canadian education, there are other significant advantages. As we've discussed, Canadian educational credentials are highly valued in the express entry system. They demonstrate adaptability, proficiency in English or French in an academic setting, and familiarity with the Canadian context. This can make your profile more attractive overall. Moreover, studying in Canada often provides an opportunity to improve your language skills organically, which can help you score higher on subsequent language tests. But perhaps one of the biggest perks is that being an international student in Canada can open up a lot of other doors to staying in the country permanently, pathways that you might not otherwise be eligible for. Many provinces have specific PNP streams for international graduates from their institutions, and crucially, eligible programs can lead to a post-graduation work permit, PGWP, which is an open work permit allowing you to work for almost any Canadian employer. This brings us to a critical immigration tip for this chapter. If you're considering studying in Canada, make sure you thoroughly research programs that will allow you to obtain a PGWP after you graduate. Not all programs or institutions make you eligible. The length of your PGWP is generally tied to the length of your study program, up to a maximum of 3 years. This permit is invaluable because the Canadian work experience you gain while on a PGWP can significantly boost your CRS score and make you eligible for the Canadian Experience Class (CEC) program. With recent regulations implemented by the Government of Canada regarding international students and PGWPs, it's more important than ever to choose your program and institution wisely. The invaluable Canadian work experience you can gain post-graduation not only adds significant value to your career development, making you more competitive in the job market, but it also becomes a cornerstone of your long-term immigration project. It's a strategic move that builds human capital, highly regarded by the Canadian immigration system. So, while the decision to study abroad involves careful financial planning and personal commitment, the potential rewards in terms of your CRS score and overall immigration prospects can be substantial. It's about playing the long game, investing in credentials that Canada recognizes and values, and positioning yourself for multiple pathways to permanent residence. It's a significant undertaking, but for many, it's the key that unlocks their Canadian dream. So, there you have it. 7 distinct avenues to potentially boost your comprehensive ranking system score for Canadian Express entry. We've journeyed from the nuances of language tests and educational assessments all the way to the strategic considerations of spousal factors and the long-term benefits of Canadian study or work experience. It's a lot to take in, I know. The Canadian immigration system, much like, say, the socio-economic impact of the Mongolian Empire, is complex. It has many moving parts, and sometimes the rules of the game seem to shift just when you think you've figured them out. But here's the thing about complex systems. They can be understood, they can be navigated, and with the right information and a strategic approach, you can significantly improve your chances. The key takeaway, I hope, is that your CRS score isn't just a static number you're stuck with. It's a dynamic reflection of your profile, and there are levers you can pull, efforts you can make to see that number climb. It requires diligence, patience, and sometimes a willingness to take a path you hadn't initially considered, like learning French or going back to school. Remember, this journey towards Canadian permanent residence is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be paperwork, there will be waiting, and there will be moments of uncertainty. But by focusing on these actionable strategies, improving your language scores, getting your education properly assessed, gaining relevant work experience, leveraging your partner's skills, seeking out provincial nominations, or even considering Canadian education, you are actively shaping your future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.